wheels in the open road. I got the throttle wide open, feel my pace. Got 100 horses between my legs. No destination, no end in sight. Just me in the open road, riding into the moonlight. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. Life in the fast lane, it's easy to maintain. Just twist the throttle on back and feel no pain. From the open highways, backwoods of the country, where live free or die is the only way. On my two wheels, all that I need is white lines and gasoline. Never look back, 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 never look back. White lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline. Two wheels in the open road, life and death in my own hands. I am my own justice, I am my own man. I never look behind through all that I have seen. 'Cause all I need is white lines of gasoline, white lines of gasoline, white lines of gasoline, white lines of gasoline. We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag 'cause we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides.
It was more than impressive, I have to say. I mean, the track is identical to the real track. I was blown away how realistic it is. Every little bump, every little spray paint, everything is exactly like you were there at the track. It was a great experience. This is a warm-up lap now. Tires to get warmed up. The engine. Breathe a little bit here when you go through that little bump there. And then it's flat pretty much all the way through here, just about. Hard braking. This is the slowest part of the track. And then I've done, I did many races in Formula 3, Formula 2. And then I did the very last race they did there in Group C in 1983 in the 956 Porsche. That's when Beloff got the lap record at the 6:11. I think I was second on the grid with the 6:14 or something, which was, those cars were awesome around there, of course, like any car is, that speed. And this is the corner of all corners here, the Schwedenkreuz. Flat all the way into it. And then trail brake all the way into the apex here. And then hard at it again to get good speed down the hill here. Mega fast down this hill here. Just jump from one apex to the next. Gotta be super super precise here. I mean, it's almost exactly like the real thing. So, I mean, it is certainly realistic enough to get past the very, a lot of the initial hurdles you have when you try to learn to drive a race car, So, I mean, I think it's an excellent tool to learn how to race for sure, or learn to drive a car on a racetrack.
Welcome, race fans, to the Domino CYJ Racing Premier Xfinity race here at Las Vegas Live on All Pro Broadcasting. My name is Robert McFarland. I'm joined in the booth by famous radio voice Bucky Bird. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Robert, and I appreciate that. Thank you for having me tonight with you in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir, Bucky. Las Vegas is definitely known as the gambling capital of the world. Give us about a minute history on Vegas track. You ran some laps earlier. How does it feel to you, Bucky?
Well, I did run a few laps earlier in the Xfinity Camry, and what I gathered is the track is very fast, but very bumpy. So it'll be interesting to see these drivers be able to work with both of them, being very fast and bumpy. Should be a recipe for some exciting racing.
Yes, sir. This is going to be very exciting, Bucky. We have got a pretty full field of racers tonight. Qualifying is just now getting started. I did some research today, Bucky, and did find out that Vegas is not the biggest city for gambling in the world. It is the biggest city for gambling here in the United States. The first city is in China. Of course, they have a much bigger population. But, Bucky, we got a real exciting race going on tonight. And I do want to mention to all the fans, this would be a great time to place your bets. Since we are in Vegas, there's going to be a lot of things to bet on tonight. The driver's going to be betting on a lot of things here in qualifying. Do you want to start in the front, the middle, the back? What are you going to do as far as gambling on pit strategy? And in just a minute, Becky, I will tell all the fans about gambling on who they're going to pick to win the free large pizza. What else are you expecting from this race, Becky?
Well, I think gambling is definitely going to be the key word for tonight. What are these drivers going to do to get themselves in a position to get maximum points and hopefully get the win? A lot of the drivers that you'd expect to see up front are up front. So are the drivers at the back? They have nothing to lose. Are they going to gamble if we have a late race caution to elect not to pit, to be up front and gamble for a shot to win. This track produces a lot of side-by-side racing, and with the bumps, it, I think, will make the racing that much even more exciting. We're going to see cars wash up the racetrack and maybe even see some of these drivers get into each other. So looking forward to this, and as we can see, Curtis Young was first in practice with a 30.099, and right now he's leading the speed charts in qualifying with a 30.022, so he did pick up just a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Curtis can continue with his dominance in the Xfinity Series at Las Vegas and possibly go 3 number ones all in the row. He's going to win practice, qualifying, and hopefully for him the race. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what Curtis can do if he can stay out of trouble, and if any of these other guys are going to gamble, as you said earlier, to hopefully get the win.
Yes, Bucky, in case the fans have not heard this yet, if you're new joining our broadcast, we are very thankful for our fans. You're very important to what we're doing. Curtis Young is our reigning 2016 Domino's TYJ Dinner Fender Truck Champion. He did pile together 15 total wins in both of our series in our first season. He is definitely going to be a good pick. In just a couple more minutes, I will give the details of how you can win your free large 3-topping pizza by picking the winner of this race before halfway, which will be lap 67. Bucky, who looks good to you on the speed charts for qualifying so far other than Curtis Young?
Well, Dustin Lee in the number 32. In practice, he was 5th fastest and with a 30.190, and he's currently 2nd in qualifying with a 30.060. So a lot of these drivers are picking up their times from practice to qualifying. Another guy that comes to mind is Jack Watson, the number 66. In practice, he was 12th with a 30.320, and right now he's in 4th with a 30.096. So what we are starting to see are these drivers are actually picking up time in qualifying, which is a good thing. That's what you want to see. It'll be interesting to see how much of that they can carry over into the race.
Yes, Becky, you've been doing racing here at Vegas, a lot of the tracks that are famous for NASCAR. You've even been around NASCAR for a long time yourself. Give us a quick, short history of your experience in NASCAR and why you're such a famous voice in radio.
Well, I appreciate that, Robert. Sometimes I don't think I'm as good as what some people say, but for me, racing has always been a passion. I've always wanted to be a race car driver, and when I realized that dream may not come true, I said, well, there's one thing that I do enjoy, and that's running my mouth. And so I got on the internet one day and started talking about racing, and one thing led to another. I was going to pretty much all the NASCAR races as a member in the media and on a race team with helping them try to find sponsorship. So I got to know some of the NASCAR drivers and people in the industry, and I did that for about 3 to 4 years. When Jeff Gordon retired, I went ahead and stepped away to kind of have a more serious outlook on life, because I was starting to spend more money than I was making. So I just had to take a personal decision and a business decision to not go to the races anymore. So, but anyway, yeah, I do a radio show. It's on hold right now because of my busy work schedule, but it was a ton of fun traveling and getting. Being able to have the access that I did to live a dream of mine, and that was to be involved in NASCAR one way, shape, or form. And these drivers are starting to grid, Robert, and Curtis Young is your pole sitter. So no one can beat Curtis Young in practice and qualifying. It'll be interesting to see if anyone can do it in the race. And right now, Dustin Lee, the guy that I mentioned that picked up some time, he's going to qualify 2nd. So it'll be a good race, and Vegas was a track that I never made it out to, so I don't know what it's like in person, but I have experienced it on the sim, and iRacing is a ton of fun. So since I did not get to race in real life, I'm so thankful for iRacing because it lets me live my dream in that way, and it's a lot cheaper.
That sounds awesome, Bucky. And real quick, going through the starting lineup, we do have Curtis Young in the 94. He did win the pole with a 30.099. He was also fastest, actually 30.022. He was fastest in practice. On the outside, we have Dustin Lee in the 32. Row number 2, we have Jeff T. Martin in the 15. On his outside, we have Jack Watts in the 66. The next row, we have Josh Bonwell, one of our favorite new drivers, in the 56. Beside him, we have William Davis in the 011. We also have Tim B. Cox in the 19. He'll be starting 7th. Tyler Chalk is a brand newcomer to our racing league. Matter of fact, he just got signed up this evening. We've had a few provisionals. He's a very excellent driver, passed a few tryout races. He's in the 07, starting 8th. We expect a lot of things from Tyler. Starting 9th, we have Jeffrey Ford in the 95. Starting 10th, we have Mark Fravert in the 18. Becky, take us through the next 10 if you can.
Yeah, starting 11th, we have Curtis Aho. In 12th, Judd Danielson in the 85. He's a veteran to Domino's TYJ Racing. Starting in 13th, we have Eric Stanford. Starting in 14th, Jeremy Crandall. He's a newcomer doing really good things. In the 15th starting position, we have Eric Hawk. 16th, Lynn McNeese. 17th, Gary Sexton. 18th, Gerald Heffley. 19th, James Somke. And 20th, Ray Richer.
Thank you, Becky. While the cars are getting ready to go down the backstretch, we have in 21st, Andrew Kessler in the 98. He is kind of a famous driver here. We also have Nick Reynolds in the number 10, 22nd. 23rd starting position, we have Ricky Lake in the 7. 24th, Raymond Vasquez in the 72, out from the West Coast in California. 25th, we have Gary Weston. 26th, a veteran driver, Tyler Roberts. I look to see good things from him tonight. We also have 27th, Russ Coe in the 420. 28th, David Gameforth, an excellent driver in the 101. 29th, we have Mark McFadden in the 67. And in 30th, we have Gary Sheldon in the 88. As the cars are coming through 3 and 4, the rest of the drivers you can see on your grid. Again, fans, thank you. In just a few minutes, we'll go over the free pizza giveaway. As the pace car does pull in, we're getting ready to go green here, Becky.
That's right. Curtis Young's going to lead him to the green. Green flag is out. Curtis Young and Dustin Lee are going to take off. Meanwhile, the Jack Watson, the 66, did not get a good restart. We're going to go into turn 1. Curtis Young has a slight edge.
Yes, and it does look like Dustin Lee will fall in right behind Curtis Young. Dustin Lee's in that 32 Ford, Chevy Camaro. He's going to follow him all the way down the back stretch, looking on his inside. Now he's going to tuck right behind him going into turn 3.
That's right. He's going to look on the inside coming out of turn 4, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Curtis Young looks to be the guy to lead the first lap, and that he will do. In third, Jeff T. Martin is trying to catch right back up to the back bumper of Dustin Lee as this field is starting to run single file.
Yes, Becky, we do have Jack Watts. He fell back to 5th on that restart in the 66. On his outside right now, we have 19 of Tim B. Cox making the pass on him. That'll be a clean pass. Looks like he's going to go into position 5. That's a clean move there early in the race.
That's right. Meanwhile, Curtis Young is stepping out. He's got about a 4 or 5 car length on Dustin Lee in second place. Curtis Young is starting to show some muscle early on, backing up qualifying and practice.
Yes, Becky, as you well know, these tracks like Atlanta and Vegas, these surfaces are worn. The guy who has the fastest first 2, 3, 4 laps, he might abuse his tires. He could fall back if we have a long green flag run to start this race, which we're hoping we will have, Becky.
Yeah, one thing I just noticed is Josh Bonwell in the 56 was underneath Dustin Lee for second. He could not make it stick, washed up the racetrack, and fell back a couple of spots. He's settled in right now in the 4th position, all over Tim B. Cox for the 3rd.
Yes, Becky, and while these drivers get lined up single file, some double wide in the back on lap number 4 and 5, I do want to mention our free pizza giveaway. Basically, this works. Josh Bonwell's mother picks him every single Thursday night to win the race. Fans, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. The first fan to accurately pick the winner of this race before lap 67, you can text 919-883-7497. We're also watching in the chat. The first fan to pick that driver accurately will win a free large 3-topping pizza from your local Domino's store, carry-out only. We'll give you more details later. You might want to wait a few laps to get your picks in, but obviously the leaders are good picks.
Most definitely, and it's kind of like it's real hard to make that decision if you want to get your pick in early or if you want to wait, because if your guy wins and you're the first one to pick him, you win the pizza. But if you pick a guy and he gets caught in a wreck early or has trouble, are you able to pick again, Robert?
You are able to pick again. It gives me more work to do, but that's okay. But once lap 67 is finished, I notify that time, and any picks after that are disqualified. And one side note, if you're an employee of Domino's Pizza and or if you are a racer in any of the Domino's TYJ family of leagues, series, you are disqualified as well. You have to be a family member, etc.
Sounds wonderful. And we've had some pizzas given away every week here in Domino's TYJ. I see you post pictures. We had a winner last week. She looked very, very happy.
Yeah, Bucky, I have not seen a picture of one of the fans who have won a picture of pizza, not to look happy. Not all of them will take the picture and show it to me, but the few that do, we definitely put that on the Facebook page. You can definitely look at that at Robert Graham McFarland on Facebook. You will see definitely several, 4 or 5 different pictures. We've had, I think, about 7 or 8 winners out of the last 10 weeks, Bucky. It's been really incredible.
Yeah, and while we were talking about the pizza giveaway, I noticed Jeff Martin in the number 15 actually door slammed Tim Cox in the number 19 for position. Now Jeff T. Martin is starting to slide back a little bit from the contact. It'll be interesting to see how his car is going to handle after a little bit of damage.
Yes, sir. Right beside him, it looks like Curtis Ayo in the 38 is getting a good run. As Jeffrey Ford in the 95 Ford Mustang GT went below the apron there for a second, trying to get some speed and some momentum. This track in the Xfinity cars, Bucky, as you well know, is definitely based on momentum. You want to be in the throttle as much as you can and be off the throttle as little as you can to keep that momentum.
Right, but once these tires start to wear, the more brake and less throttle that you're going to use. I've noticed I've had that with experience. This track is so fast and it eats up tires with all the bumps. And you can almost run around here at full throttle. But as the race wears on, these tires wear, you have to use a little bit of brake or even a little less gas just to get around here, as drivers are starting to shuffle through the field, coming up through the field as we're going like 3 and 4 wide. I'm new to here, so I don't know all these drivers yet, but Josh Bonwell, he was all the way at the top. He was 4 wide with a couple other drivers, and he's starting to, I think he actually got into the wall. Robert,
yes, sir. He sure did, Bucky. He was running second. He was trekking down. Curtis Young got into the wall. He's falling back to 6th or 7th position, Bucky. That's exactly what you just said. The tires were out a little bit. You lose some traction, and you overdrive the car, get into the wall. That's definitely going to hurt his chances. I'm sure he'll get some repairs on pit road when we do have a caution, but you're exactly right, Bucky.
Yeah, and you've got to sit on pit road for a long period of time to get that damage fixed. It can. Good thing it happened early, but if this race stays green, it's going to be a long night for him. But it's going to be hard to make your way up through the field with damage on your race car.
Yes, it looks like Dustin Lee in the 32 Camaro is having some pressure right now from the 3rd place runner, Tim B. Cox. He's running 3rd, and right behind him we do have Jeff T. Martin, the 15. You can almost throw a blanket over these 3 cars, Bucky.
You definitely can. It's you can go into corner 1 in one position and come out another. That's how close these guys are running. But right now I think they've kind of got it straightened out. But Jeff T. Martin is starting to look underneath the Chevrolet of Tim B. Cox as well. But looks like they're going to straighten that out. And one guy on the move is Jeffrey Ford. He started 5th. Well, actually, no, he's still 5th. He did show a little bit of muscle while those guys are running side by side, but he's going to back it up and be about a car length off of Jeff Martin right now. As Curtis Young continues to lead, he's got about 1.5 seconds on Dustin Lee. And, Robert, this is all too familiar, at least for me. This is my first race back with Domino's since last season. And it looks like I've never left with Curtis Young out front and pulling away the way he is. It's almost like some things never change.
That is true. Curtis has definitely had an uphill battle in 2017 so far. I'm very happy to see him up front, and I do wish him the win in this league. He is one of my favorites, although I can't pick anybody for favorites. But we do have a lot of battling side by side back in the field. Looks like Jeffrey Ford is losing a few positions right now as we speak. He's back to 6th, 7th. He's getting passed by William Davis in the 011, as well as Jack Watson, the 66, gets around him, and Tyler Chalk in the 07 is right on his bumper So we do have some comers and goers already early in this race, Bucky.
Yes, and one of the guys that's coming is Eric Stanford in the 24. He qualified 13th. He's up to 7th right now. He actually looked to go right up the middle about a lap ago to go 3 wide, but thought better of it as he is tracking down Curtis Aho, who is 5th. He's on the move as he qualified 11th. It may be the Curtis and Curtis show as it was last year, at least whenever I raced. But look for that 24 machine of Eric Stanford to be right up there in battle, because right now he seems to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack in that Ford.
Yes, it does look like Eric Stanford in the Mobile 124 Mustang GT is definitely making some headway. Like you said, he started 13th in this race. He's up to 6th, and he is definitely tracking down Curtis Aho in that 38 Ford Mustang, although he's got some competition on the outside there with the 15. Looks like Jeff T. Martin. This is really a great race here between Ford and Mustang. I mean, Ford and Camaro.
Yeah, Josh Bonwell, when he got into the wall a few laps ago, it has really taken a toll on his race car, because he dropped from 2nd all the way to 22nd. And, he is screaming for a caution right now as we are 18 laps into this race.
Yes, and right now it looks like we do have a green flag run, which is excellent to see. Again, fans, get your picks in. You have till lap 67 to text 919-883-7497 or in the race chat to pick your winner for this race before lap 67. The first fan to actually predict the winner does get the free large 3-topping pizza from your local Domino's store, carry out only. And yes, so far, Becky, this has been an incredible race here. The drivers are racing clean. They've learned a lot in practice. What else are you seeing here, Becky?
Well, I just want to go back on what I was just talking about. Eric Stanford in that 24, he is past Curtis Aho. He has moved into the 4th position. He is very, very strong right now, which is good to see as this run gets longer and longer. You want to have a car that continues to go to the front, and he is clicking off some very fast lap times. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Eric Stanford in that 24 Ford Mustang can do, and maybe be a challenger for Curtis Young. But these drivers are all over the racetrack, and they're using every bit of it too. The apron up near the wall. You've got drivers that are running the high lane, running the low lane. So every part of this racetrack is being utilized right now by these fast Xfinity cars, Fords, Mustangs, and Toyotas. They are putting on an exciting show here in the early stages of this race.
Yes, Becky, and with that, we're going to kind of go through the field a little bit. I'm going to drop all the way back to 8th place. We have Jack Watts in the 66 Camaro. Looks like right now he's making a move. He just passed William Davis in the 11. Will drop him back to 7th.
All right, man.
And we do have a caution on the track, Becky.
That's right. Caution just came out. I'm trying to see where exactly it's coming from.
Looks like it could be the number 8 of Tyler Roberts. Had some issues here. We'll pull that replay up in just a second.
Yeah, I'm looking at his car now, and it is smoking. That looks to be terminal. He has a lot of damage at the back of his race car.
Yes, as I'm pulling up the replay, it looks like coming into turn 3 and 4. He gets a little bit loose, maybe a little bit of contact, or he gets a little bit too much. Oh, I see what happened. It looks like the one machine. But you can help me on that. The one machine of James Tomke. Yes, sir. He gets into the wall. Yes, James Tomke gets in the wall, pulls it down off the wall, and the 8 of Tyler Roberts has nowhere to go. He turns it hard to the left, gets some contact, and into the inside wall. It looks like his race will be over.
Meanwhile, the leaders are coming down pit road, Robert.
Yes, sir, Becky. What are you seeing on pit road from these drivers?
Looks like we've got some guys doing strategy, but still, Curtis Young will be the winner on pit road, followed by Dustin Lee, Timmy Cox, Eric Stanford, and Curtis Aho your top 5. So not really much changes in the top 5, but Curtis Young is going to resume as the leader.
All right, Becky, with that quick update, we did run about 21 green flag laps. At this time, we were going to step away for just a minute. Again, fans, get your picks in. You are watching the USPS 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting here at Las Vegas, the gambling city of the United States of America. We will be right back. Welcome back, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series live on All Pro Broadcasting. I'm joined in the booth here by Becky Burt. We just had our first caution. Becky, what did you see on those pit stops? And did anybody gain any positions from what you can tell?
Yes, we did. Curtis Young will continue as your leader. But Curtis Aho picked up some spots. He's now second. Eric Stanford picked up a few spots as well. He is now third. And William Davis, who qualified sixth, he's up to fourth. Fifth is Tim Cox, so he didn't really lose too much. But now we've got both of the Curtises up front. It'll be interesting to see what these guys can do. But I'm looking at that number 24 of Eric Stanford in that Ford Mustang as we're getting ready to go back to green. I think now that he's got track position, he may be a challenger for this lead.
Yes, sir, Becky. The green flag is out. The pace car is in. It looks like Curtis and Curtis both did a great restart.
Yep, but don't lose sight of that of Eric Stanford in the 24 as he's starting to make the bottom work. He's going to keep third and go for second on Curtis Aho. They're side by side going down the back straightaway. It's going to look like Eric Stanford may have the preferred line going into 4.
And Curtis Aho is fighting back on the outside here as they come across the start-finish line. Looks like Stanford will get second place as he is making a move on Curtis Young.
Yes, he is, and Eric Stanford washes out the racetrack a little bit, but the guy that loses the most is Curtis Aho as he's going to drop back to 4th place, or at least have a battle for 3rd. He looks like he's going to lose it to William Davis as those guys are battling, and that's right, William Davis will take the 3rd spot as now Eric Stanford, that 24 Ford Mustang, is starting to put some pressure on Curtis Young as the distance is just over a car length.
Yes, sir, Becky. This is the first time all night we've seen somebody give Curtis Young some pressure. Eric Stanford in that Mobil 1 Ford Mustang GT has definitely put some pressure on Curtis Young in the Camaro. It'll be interesting to see how these two leaders handle this track with the brand new tires as we look a little bit further back in the field. Looks like Tyler Chalk, one of our brand new drivers in the 07. He is in position 6. He's running that check-in online Camaro. What a great paint scheme on that. Good to have him in the race tonight. He's definitely staying clean and green. Had a serious conversation with him earlier tonight. He got his fees paid, and he's looking to make his name and his impression here in the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity League.
That's right. We're going to go back into the field, and I'm taking a look at my good friend Ray Richer in the number 44. Right now seems to be struggling a little bit, qualified 20th. He's now running 24th, a little over, just under 6 seconds off of the pace as Michael Lawler in the number 93 is looking to his inside to make that pass. But a lot of these drivers towards the back of the pack are trying to get settled in and pick up as many positions as they can while they have these fresh tires. As you see them going 2 and 3 wide all the way through the field. Meanwhile, the leaders up front are running single file and trying to just make their pass when they can.
That is true. Becky, these guys are going to learn from that first stint of 22 laps green flag racing. Some are going to abuse the tires. Some are going to save their equipment and try to have a good run later in this run to gain more positions.
Yeah, one driver that I wanted to take a look at is the, gosh, I can't remember his name now.
Car number? That's all right. We give you a pass. You're new on this. Is he in the front?
Well, he started up front, but he got in the wall early. Josh Bonwell.
Yeah, Josh Bonwell. Yes, sir.
Way back in 29th position, so I don't know if he got the damage fix. I'm going to try and take a look at his car, but he hasn't really made too much movement to get back up to the field. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now, and he still has that damage as he's looking underneath Chad Payne, the number 9 car, and he looks like Chad Payne's going to fight tough on the outside. So what looked like a promising night for Josh Bonwell, starting up front, battling for the lead, turned to disaster when he got into the wall, and now he's stuck in the back of the pack with damage, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to move forward.
Well, the good thing, Becky, is Josh Bonwell is one of those excellent drivers. The race is still in the early stages. We're only on lap 34. We have 100 laps to go. It would not surprise me at all. I've been lucky and I've been unlucky at calling some of the drivers in the middle stages of these races as to how they finish. Wouldn't surprise me if Josh does not end up with a top 10 finish because he knows how to drive a car with damage. He knows how to get on pit road when we do have cautions to get the damage fixed. And not to mention, his mother is backing him and picking him every single race. So don't count Josh out yet.
Oh, no. But I was just pointing out that the damage was not able to get fixed, and he's just back there. Maybe he's just taking his time, saving his stuff to make moves for when guys, end up using up their tires, because as you know, the tire wear, it can wear pretty quick. But he seems to be a pretty good racer. Like I said, I don't know too much about him or some of the other drivers. I can only go from the people that I know, but he seems to be one of the bright talents that you have in the Domino's TYJ Xfinity Series.
Thank you very much, Becky. And a little bit further back in the field, I'm going to go back to 10th place. We do have one of our veteran drivers, Judd Danielson, in the 85 Domino's sponsored car. He is in 10th position, having a great run so far. Behind him we have Jeff T. Martin, lost a few positions. He's in 11th in the 15. We got Lou McNeese, another one of our veteran drivers who has a lot of talent. He's won quite a few races in other series. He's won quite a few practice races with us. He's in the Camaro, the Auto Parts Camaro. He's in 12th position. Jeremy Crandall is another one of our great drivers. He's new for 2017. He's driving the Scoops Ice Cream sponsored 73 machine in 13th position. Gary Sexton is in the 14th position. He's in the number 17. We have Nick Reynolds in the 10 car. He's in 15th in that Chevrolet Camaro. In 16th, we have Eric Hawk in the 20 Camaro. He's getting passed as we speak. Looks like by Ricky Lake in the 7, who was in 17th in that Ford Mustang, trying to get a run on one inside right now as we speak. Behind them, we have Andrew Kessler, who's a famous voice here in iRacing in the 98. He's got an excellent spotter at the top of the grandstands, and Dave Washington helping him get to this race in the Mustang GT, although he is just now getting passed. Looks like by Gerald Heffley, the 28, in the Kodak Camaro.
He's going to fight back, though.
He is fighting back. Yes, sir, Becky. He sure is fighting back. And behind them, behind Gerald Heffley, who do you see there?
Yeah, we've got Craig Lerman in the 77. Looks like to be in the DeWalt Chevrolet, as he's going to fall in the tire tracks of Andy Kessler in the 98. As Andy almost gets into the back of Ricky Lake in the 7, that was a close call. And these guys are battling very, very hard for the 17th position.
That is true. We also have Ellery or Jay Queen in the 21 position in the 62 car in that Impact Ford. He's looking good tonight. He just got passed by Craig Learman in the 77 DeWalt, like you mentioned earlier, in 20th. We got all kind of battles all through the field here tonight, Becky.
That's right, we sure do. And Mark Fravert in the 18, sporting the World Series champions Cubs. At least that's what was on my screen. He's trying to make a run to get up through the field, as he qualified 10th and running in 20 seconds, so he's got to make up some spots from where he qualified from if he wants to get back up to where he started. A lot of very tight battling back here in the middle part of the field, a lot of side-by-side. Oh, the Ricky Lake in the 7, he's literally leaning on Andy Kessler in the 98. They're going to separate themselves now, and he's going to get behind Andy. And then Craig Lerman in the 77 is going to try and make that pass on Ricky Lake there. And Ricky Lake he's really having a rough lap that time, getting into the side of Andy Kessler and then losing 3 spots. He's going to lose another one to Mark Fravert.
Thanks, Bucky. And back over at the front, we do have a battle for the lead, as we do have William Davis in the 011. He's closed the gap. He's down to, it looks like, less than 1/10 of a second. He's all over the back bumper of Curtis Young in the 94. It's the most heat Curtis Young has felt all race long.
That's right, and Curtis Aho gets into the wall there, and Dustin Lee is all over him, and he's going to take that position. Very, very tight racing. Oh,
and Dustin Lee gets in the wall, and he gets hit by the 07 of Tyler Chalk. Oh, my goodness, the yellow flag is out, Bucky.
Yeah, Dustin Lee, he kind of went over. He lifted up in the air, got on the side a little bit. Hard impact into the wall. Very, very intense battle up front. Caused an accident.
Like you mentioned earlier in the race, Bucky, and you know these Xfinity cars better than I do. These cars go 20 laps, which is about what we've had on these tires. However you would characterize it, the tires get tight, the cars get loose, you get up into the wall, and from there it's on.
Yeah, you know he's got to be kicking himself with that one. It looked like some of the guys were checking up, and they just came together, and he ended up going for a ride. That's going to be a long race to get that Chevrolet fixed.
Yes, sir, Becky. It looks like the 07 or Tyler Chalk in the Great Clips Camaro had nowhere to go when Dustin Lee got loose. He almost saved it, Dustin Lee did, in the 32. but he couldn't quite do it. At these speeds, 160, 70 miles an hour with worn tires. Even the best drivers in NASCAR can't save one of these cars, and obviously it's hard to do here in iRacing also.
Yeah, it seems to be. We will run about the same amount of laps, and then we get a caution. That's okay as the leaders are coming down pit road.
Yeah, give us an update on pit road if you don't mind, Bucky, if you've got that covered.
Yeah, Curtis Young is on pit road as your leader. Left side tires are going up. And Eric Stanford's going to be first off of pit road. Curtis Young's going to lose 2 spots. He's going to move back to third. It looks like William Davis, I think I have to look. He may be first off of pit road and Eric Stanford second. So Curtis Young, he's going to lose spots on pit road.
Wow, and I'm looking at the field right now. It looks like Nick Reynolds in the 10 stayed out. According to graphics here, he's in 5th position. I think he stayed out.
Yeah, mine have not updated yet, so I cannot be too certain. One thing that I'd like to point out is Curtis Aho, right before that caution came out, he got into the wall, and he didn't really lose much. He's going to stay in 4th place. Just a little bit of damage. I don't think it really did too much to his race car, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do on the restart if he's able to stay up front, or is he going to fall back just like Josh Bonwell? Speaking of Josh Bonwell, he's just outside the top 20. I'm going to let my results update, and looks like, let's see here. Yeah, no, Bonwell's actually in the 34th position, so he may be on pit road for a long period of time to get that damage fixed.
And that's probably a smart call on his part to get that done early.
And meanwhile, Tyler Roberts has DNF'd from the race.
Yeah, it looks like his car was pulled behind the wall. They had too much, like you said, rear end damage from that earlier caution. He unfortunately is out of the race, and he is obviously very upset. We tried to get one of our reporters down there to get an in-race interview with him, and unfortunately he was able. He denied us that interview. Hopefully after the race we can get a hold of him, if not next week. But we do have the 11 of William Davis leading this race. Looks like he stayed out here. He
was first off of pit road.
Okay, my bad. Thank you, Becky. He's first off of pit road, qualified 6th, so he's going to maintain the lead here.
That's
or
right.
gain the lead.
Right, and Curtis Young, he's back as far as back he's been all race. He's been up front the entire race. These are the first laps. He has not led. He's going to restart third, so he will be on the inside. It'll be interesting to see if he can make a move on William Davis for the lead going into turn 1, or can Eric Stanford be strong on the outside? He seems to be a consistent driver, although that last run he did lose a few spots, but he's picked it back up off of pit road. So it'll be interesting to see if he can go after the lead. Another driver to watch is Curtis Aho. He's going to restart 4th. With him getting into the wall,
yes, Becky.
Will he suffer from any damage?
Yes, real quick, Curtis Young got you in the broadcast booth. This Robert. What happened on that pit stop?
I'm not too sure. I guess the guys fumbled the lug nuts or something because, I'm not too sure why I lost 2 spots there.
Well, you've been having a dominating performance tonight, Curtis. We wish you all the luck, and get up there, get on the wheel, and get this win for Domino's TYJ Racing. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Robert.
Curtis Young becoming a legend in the Domino's TYJ Racing. I don't think anybody, Robert, has won that many races in a season in Domino's TYJ history.
It's going to be a very interesting restart here, Becky. Looks like the pace car is in. Go ahead, Becky.
Green flag, green flag.
That's right. Pace car is in. And the leader, William Davis, is going to take it green. He's going to get a good jump. Curtis Young, he's going to take a look on the inside. William Davis tries to put the block on Eric Stanford. It's going to work. Meanwhile, Eric Stanford and Curtis Young are side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel, battling for second place, as Curtis Young is all over William Davis as they're going into turn 3.
And Curtis Ajo is right back there in 4th position. He's looking for an opening himself. He's following his best friend Curtis Young there on the bottom line, although he's looking at the outside now. And William Davis is going down below the apron there across the start-finish line to maintain that leader position.
Right, meanwhile, at the start-finish line, Curtis Young and Eric Stanford almost made contact. It's not going to waver them at all because Eric Stanford's going to get the run on the outside. William Davis is going to leave it open, and they're going to be side-by-side going into turn number 3. Curtis Young had to make a decision, stay low or go high. He thought about it, and they're going to touch. The leader, William Davis, and second-place driver, Eric Stanford, are going to touch. And it is a dogfight up here for first. Curtis Young does not know which way to go. He's going high and low, trying to find the right line. You got to be careful with these two guys up front battling very hard for the lead. You don't want to get caught up in a mess.
Yes, sir. We saw the exact same thing at the end of the race last week. And Curtis Young got put up into the wall, not of any doing by his fault. It was just hard racing. And it does look like Curtis Young is going to make the pass on Eric Stanford. Although Eric Stanford's going to battle hard on the outside here. So it looks like Curtis Young is going to get up in the second position behind William Davis. And he's going to try to regain that leader position as Eric Stanford is going to try to cool his tires off in that Mobil 1 Ford Mustang GT as he's got a mirror full of Curtis Ajo in the 38 Ford Mustang right behind him. He's making a move on the outside.
That's right, and a driver also making the move is Judd Danielson. He's in 6th place right now. He is all over Jeff T. Martin in that number 15 car. So look for Judd's going to take a look on the inside. That seems to be the only battle right now on the racetrack in the top 10.
Yes, Judd Danielson's made a smart move. He started in 9th. Started in 12th. He's up to 6th. Looking for the 5th position, as behind him we have Jeffrey Ford in the 7th, up to 7th position. He's in that Ford Mustang GT. That's a beautiful orange paint job on that car.
Meanwhile, back up at the front for the lead, Curtis Young was trying to set William Davis up, making William Davis think he was going to go to the outside, push William Davis up to block. Meanwhile, while they were playing chicken, I guess you can say, Eric Stanford closed the gap on him. And Curtis Young's going to look high, look low, look high again. He's going to stay on the racetrack as the leader. William Davis is going to go to the apron and wash right back up in front of Curtis Young.
I tell you what, Bucky, this is some of the greatest racing we've seen all season. I'm telling you what, these Xfinity cars, they're a whole different animal than the Cup car, the Gen 6 car, where you've got at least 200-300 more horsepower. With these cars, you've got to be able to drive the car. You got to have more talent in your steering wheel, in your foot for the brake and the gas. And basically, you're almost wide open all the way around this track until you get about 5-10 laps on the tires. But these guys are seriously driving the wheels off these cars. I'm super impressed with these leaders.
Yeah, you almost have to drive the wheels off of these race cars. They are very racy. And if you want to get everything they've got to offer, you've got to get up on the wheel. And that's exactly what these drivers are doing.
And just as we're speaking, Curtis Ajo in the 38 Ford Mustang GT, he's making a move on, looks like Eric Stanford on the high side.
And we've got a battle for the lead. Curtis Young is underneath William Davis. I apologize. But William Davis is going to hold on as they swap position almost. Curtis Young went to the apron, and William Davis holds on to the lead. This is a very shock that Curtis Young is not able to get back to the lead after we've gone green. I mean, he's trying everything he can. He just cannot make the pass.
But he is all over the bumper, that Camaro of the 011 of William Davis, and he probably will make the pass sooner or later. I tell you what, these guys are unfortunately probably wearing their equipment out as we speak, and there's going to be some cars in the back of this field that are gaining on, like Curtis Ajo in the 38 is making a move right now on the outside of the 24 of Eric Stanford. Now, and right behind him we have Jeff T. Martin, the 15, in the Camaro. He's making a move also.
Looks like we've got a 4-car battle for 3rd place. You couldn't ask for any better racing than this. Once these tires start to wear, these cars get all over the racetrack. These drivers are putting these cars on edge tonight. And looks like Curtis Ajo, we've got a caution back out on the speedway.
Yes, we do. We'll get that replay pulled up in just a minute, fans. Looks like the number 93 back in the pack.
I don't see too much damage on the number 93 Camry, just a little on the left rear. Oh, and on the left front, I see it now. Looks like he did get into some trouble there. I'm gonna take a look back to see what happened.
Looks like several cars were collected here. Yeah, it looks like the 93 of Michael Lawler. Becky, he gets loose and is unable to correct it. Hits the wall, unfortunately. He tries to save it, overcorrects, then tries to save it again, and the 9 of one of our best veteran drivers, Chad Payne, gets clipped there at the very back of that wreck.
Was Gary Weston involved in the accident, Robert?
Yes, sir. I think Gary Weston was also involved in that, so quite a few cars with a lot of damage.
Right.
Yes, he
is already DNF from the race.
Yes, he took his car straight back to the garage because his car is completely damaged from this race. And yes, we're on pit road now. Bucky, what do you see on pit road?
That's right. I'm going to focus on the leaders. Maybe Curtis Young can get that lead back after a disappointing finish. And no, he's not. William Davis is going to keep the lead. Curtis Young will be second. Meanwhile, the Jeff T. Martin in the 15 is going to jump from 5th to 3rd. And Eric Stanford is going to drop all the way back to 4th.
Thanks for that update, Bucky. On this note, we're going to take our second of our only 3 commercial breaks tonight. Again, fans, you are watching the UPS 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting here at Las Vegas. Yeah, make sure you get your picks in. You've only got a few more laps. 919-883-7497 or in the race chat. United States Postal Service, delivering more Amazon Prime packages on Sundays than all other U.S. shippers combined. We will be right back.
Smithley, driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Welcome back, race fans, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series live on All Pro Broadcasting here at Las Vegas, the #1 gambling capital of the United States of America. Bucky, do you see any guys on pit road gambling tonight?
It's kind of hard to tell, but meanwhile the cars are going back to green. William Davis gets a great launch on Curtis Young. He's going to put up the block. He's going to follow him down. He's going to touch him. He's not going to loosen him up. But anyway, as far as gambling on pit road, I'd have to say William Davis for getting out there and getting the lead. He's looking pretty stout right now up against one of the best drivers in the field, Curtis Young. But Curtis Young is all over the back bumper of William Davis in that 011 car. He is not going to make... He's going to make him earn it. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to make him earn this win.
That is absolutely right, Bucky. You nailed it on the head. Curtis Young is going to make anybody beat him in this race. And we've got a lot of guys in this race tonight that can get this win. A lot of equally talented drivers here in the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity League. We've got Curtis Young. We got Jeff T. Martin. We got William Davis. We got Eric Stanford. Curtis Aho, go ahead.
I was going to say Eric Stanford had to check up a little bit because Jeff T. Martin in the 15 backed up the corner. Eric Stanford had to get out of the gas, and he lost the spot to Curtis Aho, but he gained that back. I just wanted to point that out, that he had to back it up a little bit in the corner. Meanwhile, Judd Danielson is under attack by Jeffrey Ford, the 95 for the position. So a lot of battles going on right now on the racetrack as Curtis Aho is side by side with Eric Stanford for the 4th place. Meanwhile, Curtis Young is still trying his best to get around the 011 of William Davis, and while he's trying to do that, Jeff T. Martin is starting to close in on them.
Yes, right back after the last caution, Bucky. We've got a great three-way battle for the lead here. I do want to remind the fans you have 1 lap exactly. Oh, and he gets into it, turns the 11. The caution is coming out. Wow, we'll have to check out the replay in just a minute, fans. I was just saying, get your picks in. This under caution. This changes everything.
You have got to just know that that William Davis is not happy about that one. Curtis Young was all over the back bumper of him for 2 or 3 laps straight, and eventually coming out of turn 4, enough was enough. And but they're talking over the radio. I don't know what they're talking about, but I know just knowing Curtis Young, he's probably apologizing. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to do that, but something happened, and I guess just the way he touched him was enough to lift that car up out of off the ground there and get him turned around. And the leaders are back down pit road. Curtis Young's going to lead him with a car length over Jeff Martin.
Yes, Bucky, I got a real quick insight there on the scanner, and it looks like the 11 of William Davis. His car just broke loose for no reason at all by itself, and that happening slowed him down a couple of tenths of a second. Curtis Young had nowhere to go. I don't even think Curtis got into him before he broke loose. It looks like from the camera angle, Curtis hit him first, but from what the radio communication from both drivers just came through on the scanner, the 011 Camaro just broke loose on its own accidentally and started to go around, and Curtis was right there. So that was a no-fault incident at all. I tell you what, these guys are driving as hard as they can. They're getting in the gas as hard as they can, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, and your cars can tend to break loose when you overdrive them just a little bit, and he was definitely having to wheel it around because Curtis Young was giving him a run for his money. And but that's good that these guys can have that type of communication and realize it's just a racing deal and there was no fault at all. But with this happening towards the late running of this race, it'll be interesting to see with a fast car that William Davis has if he can get back up front. Got to remember, he qualified 6th. He's led the last 20 or so laps, maybe even a little bit more than that. And right now he's marred back in 23rd position. This is going to be the worst track position he's had all race. So his car may handle differently, I don't think he got any damage sustained from that incident. He just spun into the grass. Clearly, the grass doesn't cause any damage on iRacing like it does in real-life racing with the splitters. But it'll be interesting to see if he can march his way back up through the field. And from the looks of it, I think he'll do just fine, because the cars he's going to be battling, if they were going to get up front, they would have driven up front already. I think the guys up front now are who you're going to see unless something crazy changes in this race. But it'll be fun to watch him come back up to the field. Just hope that nothing really happened to his race car that'll hinder that.
Yes, Bucky, you've seen some of the best drivers in NASCAR lose it off for turn 4 at these mile-and-a-half ovals. They spin through the grass. If they're lucky, they don't get any damage. And like you just commented, most of the time here in iRacing, they don't get any damage, so he should be good to go. He does have another half of the race to maintain or gain back that track position, which, as good a driver as he is, I'm sure he can do that. Would not shock me to see him battling for the lead here with 10 to go.
Yeah, speaking of gambling, well, not a gamble anymore, as Ray Sanders is going to bring it down pit road. But Ray Sanders, who was at the back of the pack, stayed out. I guess he wanted to lead a lap, but he's going to come down pit road and take his pit stop right now. So that'll give Curtis Young the lead once again, followed by Jeff T. Martin, Curtis Aho, Eric Stanford, Judd Danielson, Tim B. Cox, Ellery Queen, Jeffrey Ford, Lynn McNeese, and Andy Kessler, your top 10. It's good to see Andy Kessler up in the top 10. He's been running in the top 20 all race long. Now he's broke into the top 10 solidly. So now that he's got some track position, maybe he can be a challenger to these guys up front. But like I said, it'll be fun to watch Davis come back up through the field and try to regain that lead, or at least pick up some track position, get to where he qualified. But Curtis Young has the lead once again and puts that dominating car back out front. We'll see who the next challenger is going to be. Is it going to be Jeff Martin? Is it going to be Curtis Young? Is it going to be Judd Danielson? Is it going to be Lynn McNeese? We don't know. We will find out when these cars go back to green here in a few seconds.
Yes, sir, Becky. And one other driver I want to point out real quick, Ellery or Jay Queen in the 62. He started 35th. He's up to 7th. He is one of our best veteran drivers. I do not expect him to finish anywhere less than 10th. And the pace car is about to go back in, and we're going to have this restart. We got a lot of great drivers up front. This has definitely shuffled the field just a little bit. Pace car is in. It looks like Curtis Young, and it looks like the 15 of Jeff T. Martin are coming to the start-finish line. Looks like Jeff T. Martin's going to try to get a jump, but he's going to wait just a few seconds as they come across the start-finish line. Curtis Young will get the lead here. He's got Curtis Aho all over his bumpers. They look like they might even clear the 15 of Jeff T. Martin going into turn 1.
Yeah, Jeff Martin tried to get a good restart, but he did not, as he's going to drop back to 4th. Judd Danielson with the move. He's going to take 3rd. Meanwhile, he's all over the back bumper of Curtis Aho. He's going to look low to try to get the 2nd position, but it's not going to work. Jeff Martin is fighting on the outside to regain 3rd position, but Judd Danielson, he's going to put up a fight. But the Curtis and Curtis show, they are stepping up, but Judd Danielson's going to drive it in deep. You know, I spoke to Judd Danielson this week as he's racing the Daytona 500, and he said, watch me. I've got something for the Curtises, and he's actually starting to show or back up what he said. He's under attack.
All right, man,
Caution's back out.
Yes, sir, Becky. We'll get that replay pulled up real quick. But yes, we do want to make sure all the fans do know the Bucky Burt is holding a Daytona 500 coming up here this Sunday afternoon at Bucky Burt. Give us quick details. 1 p.m. Eastern?
No, 12 noon.
12 noon.
Yes, the coverage will start right around 12 noon. And we'll be over with the 500-mile race at Daytona before Super Bowl. So tune in. Tune in on FMTV. I appreciate All Pro Broadcasting allowing me to say that. But tune in to FMTV 2 for that race. I'll be posting links all over Facebook and Twitter. So you can follow me at Bucky Burt on Twitter, at TRRL_league on Twitter to get all the information. And you can like both Domino's TYJ on Facebook and TRRL Bucky Burt Show Challenger Series on Facebook as well. Are these drivers going to gamble? Coming down pit road, Curtis Young stays out. Curtis Aho's going to fake it and stay out, as well as Jeff T. Martin. Judd Jamison didn't even entertain the idea, as the leaders decided to stay out. They were trying to fake it there, Robert.
Yes, Bucky, they only had a few laps on the tires there. That replay did come up. You guys saw what happened there. It definitely looked like they were going 4 wide there, and there was just not enough room here on this Vegas track to go 4 wide. Quite a few cars. I'm still looking at the replay right now.
And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not able to access the replay, so I can't be any of assistance on that. You guys probably are seeing it, and I'm not on the broadcast. But Robert will get that.
Yeah, it looks like the 99, the 07 were involved. It's just a 4 wide race and deal situation there on the backstretch. They just ran out of room. And like you just said, Bucky, some of the leaders are staying out here. And that gives me a great opportunity to talk real quick about a couple of things. These drivers are all getting slowed down after the caution came out there and the pit stops have happened. Some more cars coming down pit road right now. While we are under caution, I just wanted to mention one quick thing to the fans and all the Domino's TYJ Racing family members. That includes the Dented Fender Truck Series. That includes the Premier Xfinity Series, as well as the Top Shelf Cup Series. Here on lap 80 tonight, fans and drivers, we are going to have a lap of silence. We had one of our brand new drivers, Michael Helsla. He tragically lost his life on January 17th of 2017 at the age of 37 years old. Michael Helsla was an accomplished real-life racer. He drove the 117 car in many races out in California. He's based outside of LA, where he lived with his loving girlfriend, Renee, for the last 8 years. Michael was also a very talented iRacing driver. Unlike a lot of us guys, he had wins in not only oval races, but also road course races. In his short career in iRacing, for less than 2 years, he won 4 races on ovals and an astonishing 6 races on road courses. This gentleman was going to be a very young, upcoming talent in the Domino's TYJ Racing family. He was a great racer, but he was an even greater giver. He and his girlfriend Renee, they cared for over 12 rescued dogs, cats, and horses on their farm outside of LA. We're getting ready to come back green here, but on lap 80, we want to remember the life, the great life of Michael Helsla, new driver of the Domino's TYJ Racing League in the number 80. Michael, you will be missed by many people. Matter of fact, Bucky, we're going to take this restart up through lap 80 in silence unless something happens. In memory of Michael Helsla.
Green flag. and caution is out. Caution is out.
That moment of silence was for our dear friend Mike Hesla, who tragically lost his life January 17th, 2017 at the age of 37 years old. We do have a caution on the track. We will always remember Michael Hesla. Beckett, what did you see on that caution?
Yeah, these drivers were battling very hard on this restart. I didn't catch exactly who it was. Like I said, I've had trouble going back and looking at the replays, but one car went upside down. I'm here in the 98 car. He went upside down, or at least on his side. He went hard into the wall as we are about to come to lap 80, Robert. And before we do that, I do want to let everyone know Josh Bonwell retired from the race.
Yes, sir. It looks like the 98 of Andrew Kessler he thought he was clear. He moved up in front of the 84 of Lynn McNeese, one of our veteran drivers, who seems like he often gets caught up in accidents, and that is where the caution came from.
Yep, leaders are coming down pit road here on lap 80 as we remember A Domino's driver who lost his life this past week. Number 95 of Jeffrey Ford, he's going to stay out front. He's not going to come down pit road, as well as Jack Watson, the 66. Chad Payne there, he looks to be the free pass. He's going to get his lap back. And I think Curtis Young will be the first off of pit road, followed by Curtis Aho. As this is lap 80. So we up in the booth will take a moment of silence again for a few moments.
All right, Bucky, it looks like the lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, we've got some new faces up front, Robert. Jeffrey Ford and Jack Watts, and Michael Lawler and Jeff Martin. I guess decided. I know the front two did not pit. I'm not too certain about third on back. I know Curtis Young pitted because he was the leader, and he is going to restart in the 5th position. This is the furthest he's been back all night. And but So it'll be interesting to see these guys that decide to stay out on a lap old tire, if they can hold it up and stay up front. Pretty good strategy, pretty good gamble, as you would say, with us being in Vegas.
Yes, Becky, there are a lot of gamblers. There are a lot of people playing their odds here in Vegas, here at the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity Series race. We're on lap 82, coming lap 83. We got up to lap 134, so if you already made your picks, congratulations. We'll update you by the end of the race, but based on our expectations, Bucky, a lot of things change at the end of these races because we got a lot of talent all the way through the field. Looks like the pace car is coming in. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford is going to lead him down to the start-finish line for the start of this restart in the Ford Mustang GT. He's got the Camaro of Jack Watts on his outside, and the green is out.
Very, very good start by Jeffrey Ford in the number 95 Ford. But meanwhile, Curtis Young is being held up by Michael Lawler right now with a damaged 93. And with that being done, as Curtis Young's going to look to the inside. Meanwhile, Curtis Young has just lost a ton of spots from being held up. But meanwhile, with all that going on, Jeffrey Ford's going to lose the lead to Jake Watts at the line. Jake Watts going to lead this lap, and the leaders have got a pretty good distance on third place. Jeff Martin, but he's going to close in now as the drivers are starting to tighten back up. It's going to be interesting to see Curtis Young try and fight back. This is the furthest he's been back position-wise and track-wise. He is
back in 7th, yes sir.
Back in 7th, just over a second behind, and that's a lot of time in racing as the battle for third is heating up. Curtis Aho, he's going to look to the inside of Jeff Martin in the 15. They're going to be side by side. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Ford wants to lead back. He is all over the back bumper of Jack Watts. And the 15 of Jeff Martin, he was under attack by Curtis Aho. He's going to take second. Meanwhile, with all this going on, Curtis Young, he's in 6th. He's coming back. And Jeffrey Ford, he's going to drop all the way back to 5th place and be in the clutches of Curtis Young. A lot has happened in this last lap.
I'll tell you what, Bucky, you couldn't almost get out of your mouth explaining that, and you're telling me what? This is some incredible racing up front. We definitely got Curtis Aho making the move to gain 2nd position from Jeff Martin. And Jeff Martin's making the move to gain position on Jack Watts. Here comes Curtis Aho all over the bumper of Jack Watts. And that's his top 3. Go ahead.
Meanwhile, Curtis Young, he has literally picked up an entire second in one lap by these guys. He's all the way up to 4th place, and he's in the battle for the lead. We've got a 5-way car battle for the lead.
And Curtis Young, I bet he's going to look low here on Curtis Aho. He might follow his tire tracks, but these guys are definitely mixing it up front. And I tell you what, this is some incredible racing here, Bucky Bird, at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, live on All Pro Broadcasting with the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity League. I tell you what, when we set this up, I did not have any idea we'd have this great racing.
Right, and what you're seeing right now, you kind of expect to see that in the back of the pack, the way these guys are driving. But no, these Xfinity cars and these drivers in Domino's TYJ have so much talent, so much speed, and the setup is just right where these guys are using everything they can. But now it's starting to settle back out. Jeff Martin is now pulling away on Tim Cox, and he's under attack by Curtis Aho. Meanwhile, Curtis Young is in 5th place. He's lost some ground after what he's made up, but he's being held up by Jack Watts right now as he's going to look to the inside as they're starting to battle again.
I'm telling you what, this Curtis Aho, driver of the 38 Ford Mustang GT, we'll get a little bit better view of his car. He's on the Road Trip RV Rental Ford Mustang GT. You know I love saying that, Bucky. And he's definitely making some serious headway here, trying to gain over the 2nd position, maybe to make it all the way to the 3rd position.
It's amazing, these cars, how, you go into one corner, these guys are 2, 3, 4 car lengths behind, and then at the exit, they're right up on the back bumper. These cars suck up so good to the cars in front of them. In a matter of a lap, you can go from having no pressure for the lead to having a guy all over your back bumper. And what I've noticed is, for instance, Tim Cox is under attack by Curtis Aho. Just a few laps ago, Tim Cox was battling Jeff Martin for the lead. Once he got under attack, he lost 2 to 3 car lengths from the lead. Now that they've settled back out, Tim Cox is back all over the bumper of Jeff Martin. So, and now that Curtis Aho is looking underneath Tim Cox, the lead extends itself again. It's just amazing watching these cars shuffle back and forth. And you got a good shot at that with Curtis Young, where he was a second. He was 1.3 seconds off the lead. In a matter of a lap, he picked up an entire second. Then he dropped back to just over a half a second, and now he's back up to under a half a second. As now we've got a 4-way battle for the lead, where it was just a 2-way battle. A lot of things are happening right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yes, Bucky, and I'm going to go back to the field real quick here. You keep calling the lead there. Jack Watts is falling back to 5th position in the 66. We got Jeffrey Ford. He's falling back to 6th position in the 95. Looks like we have Ellery Queen, Jay Queen in the 62s falling back to 8th, although he looks like he's getting passed right now by the 32 of Dustin Lee for that 8th position.
Who was involved in a wreck earlier.
Yep, and we also have Ellery Queen. I got him. Learman in the DeWalt Camaro. He's all the way up to 10th. He's putting some serious pressure on Jay Queen. Also behind him, we've got the William Davis. He was earlier. We talked about him earlier. He went to the back of the line. He's all the way back up to 12th position now. We also have Eric Hawk in the 20 car, the Camaro up to, looks like 12th. We've got Donald Stewart. Haven't talked about him much. He's in that Texaco Haviland Chevrolet Camaro with 78. He's up to 13th. Oh, and there's a, you can put a blanket over these guys right here. We've got Gary Sexton in 17th. He's making a move on Eric Hawk. Right behind him, we have Jeremy Crandall. We talked about him earlier in the Scoops Ice Cream 73 Camaro. He's back in the move up. New leader of the line. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tim Cox is your new leader at the line. Meanwhile, lap car of the 07, I'm not too sure who that is.
Tyler Shaw, no problem.
Yeah, he is going to put a little monkey wrench in Jeff Martin's strategy, as now Tim Cox in the 19 kind of extends his lead, and Curtis Young is putting pressure on the 15 of Jeff Martin for second place, as well as Curtis Aho. And just like that, it was a 4-way battle for the lead, and in less than a lap, we have a half of a second lead for Tim Cox. And as these guys second on back are battling very hard, and these tires are starting to wear out, and that's when you're starting to see some of the best racing of the night is this late in the going. We're just under 40 laps to go, I believe, Robert, and these guys are putting on a great show for us right now.
That is true, Bucky. Thanks for updating us on the lead up there. I want to go back to the field here. We do have James Sonke in the number 1 car in 17th. We got Ray Richer. We talked about him earlier. Usually Ray is up in the top 5, 10 positions of the race. They must not have got the setup right on this car tonight on this Chevrolet Camaro. He is one of our best drivers, veteran drivers. He's back in 20th. Mark McFadden in the 67 Ford Mustang is the 19th, actually ahead of him. We got Eric Stanford. He was in the 24. He's in the 24 car. He's back in 21st position, Becky. I'm not sure what happened to him. He was in the top 3 earlier in the race. We got Rusco. Go ahead, just a second. We got.
I think he was caught up in that accident.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I'm not too certain.
No problem. We got Rusco in the 420 back in 22nd. That's a beautiful green Ford Mustang GT. We've also got Gary Sheldon in the 88 Chevrolet Camaro in 23rd. Nick Reynolds, he was battling up in the top 10 earlier, I thought. He's got a little bit of damage on the right rear. He's in the 10 car in 24th. Mark Fravor, he's won a race or two earlier in our first season, Domino's 2IJ Racing. He's in position 25 in the 18. And Chad Payne is back in 29th. He's in the number 9 Coors Light Ford Mustang GT with damage on the back of his car. He's a very popular driver. He gets a lot of damage in a lot of these races, but does not show his capabilities. He finishes in the top 5 most of our plate tracks at Daytona and Talladega. You'll definitely see the 9 car up front there. Go ahead, Bucky.
Yeah, and Tim Cox, he is really checking out right now. He had about a second lead over Curtis Aho, but now Curtis Young is now the leader. Is now in second place, and he's got to pick up just under a second if he wants to reclaim this lead. But right now, Tim Cox is the man at point.
Yeah, and like you said, Curtis has moved up into second position. We still do have 33, 32 laps to go in this race, and anything can happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I also want to point out Ray Sanders has retired from the event, and he said he'll see us all at the next one.
Yeah, I tell you what, when one of these cars gets into the wall too heavy, Bucky, you know this very well. You know a lot of race car drivers. They have, how many, a dozen? 15 crew members total back at the shop and here at the track. When the car gets so much damage, you pull it behind the wall. Yeah, you can put a radiator in, get back out. You maybe can put, a rotor on the right front, get back out. But when you get enough damage, oil cooler, engine, you just got to retire from the race.
Yeah, and you don't want to be a hindrance to your other competitors, because I know you're running for a championship, but so are some of these other guys, and you don't want to have a target on your back because you were out there with a wrecked up race car being nothing but a roadblock in the way. So smart drivers out here, and it's a good thing he stayed out there that one caution to lead a lap. That'll help him in the points to get a bonus point for leading the lap. And then, of course, after retiring from the race, he's not going to get a good finish. But that lap lead will help the wound, if you will. But Curtis Young is clocking off some really fast lap times. He is now just over a half a second. Actually, he lost a tenth that lap. So right now they seem to be pretty even. Tim Cox and Curtis Young are pretty even right now. But the biggest loser right now is Curtis Aho. Once he got passed for second place, he has fallen back an entire second, and Judd Danielson is all over Curtis Aho. I told you, I talked to Judd Danielson earlier this week. He told me that he had something for Curtis and Curtis. He specifically pointed out the both of them, and he's starting to show some muscle here late in the going. So look for Judd Danielson. Not only he's in the 4th position, but we get another caution. He can get up there and make up some of that time that he's at a disadvantage right now. He's just over a second and a half off from the lead, and he's coming. But you get another caution out there, he's right there in the mix. Judd Danielson is a driver that I hope some of these people that want to win a free pizza had picked, because he's right at the top of my list with Curtis Young as drivers to win this race.
I tell you what, I definitely have to say a couple words about Judd Danielson, as I do hear over their radio communications. Some of the guys are making their hopefully last pit stops, but Judd Danielson has been on the door, knocking on the door of his first win for over 18 months in the Domino's TYJ Racing family. You know this, Bucky. He has come close. He's had quite a few second places, quite a few third places. He is one of the best examples of what happens, Bucky, when a driver joins Domino's TYJ Racing and they make a commitment to our league. They race every race, they show up at every practice, and Judd Danielson was about a 15th place racer a year ago. Right now he's battling for wins, and I'm not saying this because he's one of our favorite drivers. I'm not saying this because he got Domino's in the car. He doesn't get paid any money to have that on his car. He's doing that by his own choice. He has put the time in, and he has gained experience. And you can ask probably 25 drivers that have been associated with Domino's in the last year and a half. They have improved their talents in this league, and it's not from anything else but the competition and putting in the time. Has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with Domino's, has nothing to do with, well, it does have a lot to do with iRacing. But these guys, Judd Danielson is one of the best examples, and he's going to roll off. Once he wins his first race, Bucky, I predict he's going to win a handful of races in a row. It's going to be amazing to watch.
Oh, most definitely, and I can relate to that. When I got into iRacing, it was just over a year ago. Domino's TYJ was one of the first leagues I joined. and I progressively got better. And I came close to winning some races at the end of the season last year, but I also ran into some bad luck. But that win's coming, and meanwhile, he is in third, and he is coming as leaders are starting to pit now. Oh, Curtis Young, Judd Dennison's going to take the lead, but Curtis Young, he made up a ton of time getting onto pit road with Tim Cox in the 19. So I guess he's pulling some strategy, but Judd Dennison's the leader. But Curtis Aho is all over Judd Dennison for that lead. These drivers don't want to stay out too long. They might want to pit this lap because they don't want to lose too much to the guys that just pitted. And Judd Dennison's going to come down pit road. Curtis Aho is going to stay out and continue to lead. Smart move by Judd Dennison. This may be what he needed to go after the win.
I tell you what, we've seen this time and time again. Bucky, on these mile and a half tracks that are worn out, sometimes the first guy who pits, they get the advantage of the new tires. If you wait 1, 2, 3 laps later, it's over with unless we have another caution. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. But you're absolutely right. He definitely got a lap for leading, a point for leading that lap. And I'm pulling for all the drivers. But it's going to be very exciting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I don't think him staying out that one extra lap is going to hurt him. I honestly don't think that's going to hurt him too much because by the time he got in on pit road, those guys were leaving, so it kind of evens itself out. Meanwhile, Jeremy Crandall is your leader right now, and he is kind of like a roadblock to some of these guys on the racetrack. Ray Richer hasn't pitted yet. Curtis Aho's on pit road. Let's see, going down the list, Judd Danielson is still ahead of Curtis Young. Once it all cycles through, we'll see where those guys end up. Yeah, Curtis Young, he has actually beaten Tim Cox. So that move he did by getting on pit road, literally side by side with Tim Cox, picking up a half a second. We got a wreck. Caution on the speedway. The 32 and the 77 get into it on the back straightaway behind the leader. They were in, the 77 of Craig Lerman was in second place at the time. And the 32 of Dustin Lee was a lap down. I think he had already pitted. But what a turn of events as we have 13 cars on the lead lap right now. First car 1 lap down is Curtis Aho. So you got drivers, Jeremy Crandall's your leader, James Somke, Craig Learman, he was involved in the accident, Mark Favorite, Russ Coe, Nick Reynolds, Ray Richer, Lynn McNeese, Curtis Young, Tim B. Cox, Jeffrey Ford, Jack Watts. Those guys are on the lead lap. And we got new faces up front, a whole turn of events here. Judd Danielson is caught a lap down. He'll get it back with a wave round, but he's going to lose a ton, and I mean a ton of track position. This is huge, Robert.
I'm telling you what, that is huge. Quite a few guys have just made their pit stop. You can never predict what's going to happen. That's why, fans, I encourage you to watch all of our races every Thursday night, and starting soon, February 22nd, for our Den Fender Truck Series on Wednesday nights. These are some of the best entertaining races you're going to see on TV, period. Not even to mention iRacing. And I was just watching that replay, and it looks like a racing deal between the 32 and 77. Update us on the pit stops there, Bucky, if you can.
Yeah, Jeremy Crandall's going to come down pit road, as well as just a handful of other drivers, James Somke, Mark Fravert. I think those are the only guys that still needed to pit. Ray Richer. But the biggest story, I think, Robert, is Judd Danielson. He is going to restart outside of the top 10. He was battling to be second or third, to be third once it cycled through. He's now going to be in the 16th position when it all cycles through. Last car on the lead lap, it looks like. Jeff Martin, he's behind him in 17th. But Jeremy Crandall, out of those guys that had to come down pit road that haven't pitted yet, he is going to be first one off of pit road. So those guys made the gamble in staying out, and looks like it's going to pay off for them. They're going to have some track position where they hadn't had any all race long. But the biggest loser, and I hate to say it, is Judd Danielson. He is not got to be. He can't be happy right now.
I'm sure he's not. And Bucky, I tell this to the drivers all the time. I say it in the broadcast. These races, guys, fans, men and women, boys and girls, it's the closest thing you're ever going to see to real NASCAR, and I think it's even more exciting. You've got to have everything going your way in these races. You got to have perfect pit stops. You got to have perfect pit strategy. You got to have perfect gasoline, Sunoco fuel strategy, and you got to have luck. The biggest thing all the NASCAR drivers got to have to win these races, on top of your talent, is you got to have luck. And on that note, we're going to take our last green flag pit stop. Commercial break real quick here for 1 minute. We'll be right back. You are watching the USPS 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting from Las Vegas. We will be right back.
Driver the number 0, JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Welcome back, race fans. We are live here at the restart with Curtis Young in the 94 getting a great jump over the 19 and 10B Cox. We've got about 12 laps to go here to conclude this race. We have Jeremy Crandall also making a move on the inside, and the 73 Scoops Ice Cream Camaro looking to take over the second spot, Bucky.
That's right. Biggest winner in all of that, Jeremy Crandall. Biggest loser, Judd Danielson, 16th. Jeremy Crandall, by staying out, he's got a shot to win this race. He is all over Curtis Young and Tim Cox for the lead. And this is just, who would have thought this? Oh, they can wash up the racetrack.
They get together.
Tim Cox, he's going to hit the wall. That opens the door for Jeremy Crandall to be all over Curtis Young. Oh, we got a big wreck in the back of the field. Caution. I don't know if it's going to come out. Is it out? Yes, caution is out now. Big wreck in the back of the field. Looks like Ray Richer was involved. I'm not too certain of everyone else, possibly Judd Danielson. Let's hope not. Robert, you'll have to take it. I'm not able to see the replays.
Yes, sir. As we pull that replay up, the beginning of that looks like it was between the 94, the leader, and the second place runner. They got together a little bit, but that did not bring out the caution, Bucky.
No. It was in the back of the pack. around 10th place on back, the guys were in the wall. I saw a couple of guys and some smoke. I saw Ray Richard come out of it a little sideways. I don't know if he got any of it. I don't know who was involved. I just saw cars wrecking in the back of the field as I was focusing on the leader.
Yes, sir. I'm pulling up right now. We have the replay. Looks like the 88, the 84,
Curtis
the 38.
Young. That would be Curtis Young, Lynn McNeese.
Curtis Aho, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Curtis Aho, Lynn McNeese. Was Gary Sexton one of them in the 17?
17 got involved. 85 got involved. The Judd Danielson we were just talking about. He pitted early, got caught back in the back of the pack, and that's what happens.
That's exactly what happened.
That's the kind of bad luck that can happen sometimes here at Vegas or any track we race on.
And Curtis Aho comes over and says, "Can't catch a break." He was up front all race long. The caution comes out after green flag pit stops. The guys that were up front all race long got stuck with the caution, end up getting caught in that wreck. They cannot catch a break. Hopefully they'll keep their heads high. It's still a long season to go. One race is not going to kill you, but what this has produced is we've got a new challenger for Curtis Young. Jeremy Crandall is up front. He qualified 14th. That's about where he ran all race long. He stayed out under the last green flag pit stops and the caution came out. That's how he's up front. And he's got a fast car right here in the late going as he was putting a challenge on Curtis before the caution came out. A lot of things happening. Russ Coe's up front. James Somke, Jeffrey Ford, a lot of these guys that ran towards the back of the pack early on, they've got a shot to claim victory here in Vegas.
I'm telling you what, that definitely changes everything. And I tell you what,
it's laps to go when we go green.
That's right.
Will we see our last caution? That's something to think about. Seems like cautions breathe cautions, especially late in the going, a lot on the line. Get a win early in the season. It can catapult the rest of your season into success. Curtis Young has been the class of the field tonight. He's got a new challenger in Jeremy Crandall. Jack Watts, who's run up front all race long, he's in third. Craig Lehrman in the 77, he was involved in a wreck. He's in fourth. Fifth place, Russ Coe. Russ Coe ran at the back of the pack all race long. He stays out, gets some strategy. He's in the top 10, top 5 right now. James Somke, I think he was involved in an accident early. Jeffrey Ford, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was involved in something earlier. All these guys are up front. Didn't see them at all until now. Donald Stewart started 36, did not even take a qualifying time. He's in 8th place. Mark Favorite is back in the top 10 in 9th. It's be interesting to see, Robert, what these guys have for Curtis Young. If anybody, I think Jeremy Crandall may have something for him. It'll be interesting to see as we will go back to green with just under 10 laps to go.
Yes, Bucky, there's not that many laps to go. And Jeremy Crandall is one of our newer drivers. But I will be more than happy to tell you, Jeremy Crandall is one of our more talented drivers. We have half the drivers in our league. As you know, Bucky, like yourself and myself, we have zero real race car experience. Jeremy Crandall has spent his whole life working around race cars. He spent his whole life driving race cars. It's very hard to get to the top level of NASCAR. So if you never heard of Jeremy Crandall, it's not because he hadn't been trying. It's because he just hadn't been one of the lucky people to make it in the top level. But he's put all the work in all these years. I know him personally. And hopefully he pull out a great win here. Or a great finish at least.
And I want to point out, 3 out of the top 10 are going to be in the Daytona 500 this Sunday. 4 out of the top 12 will be in the Daytona 500. The guys in first and second, they're both in the 500, as well as Ray Richard and Judd Danielson. So catch that on Sunday. As we're going to get ready to go green here just under 10 to go. It's going to be a dogfight for the win. Pace car ducks down. Curtis Young is your leader. Jeremy Crandall in the 73 on the outside. Green flag is out, and these drivers are on their way to the start-finish line. Curtis Young with the slight edge. The 66 of Jack Watts, he's going to try and put his nose in. Oh, caution, back out as we've got a wreck for, I think, 6th on back. Robert, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. It looks like
it was at
we
the
get
start-finish line.
Yes, we get that replay pulled up. Looks like the 78. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like the 44 is making a pass on the 78. He's got plenty of room there. He's making it a pass on the high side. And the 78 in the Texaco Haviland Camaro looks like he doesn't realize the 44 Camaro is right there. 78 moves up. 44 is there. You know, these drivers need to check with their spotters. I think a spotter got fired last week from a race we had on Thursday night. Looks like there might be another one getting fired tonight. I hate spotters getting fired and not getting a paycheck because we love paying people. We love paying spotters. But this looks like a situation where the spotter did not clear the 78, made a move up. The 44 was there, and that caused that caution, Becky.
Yeah, and while all this is going on, we had 2 drivers retire from the race. Lynn McNeese and Curtis Aho, 2 guys that were running up front that were caught up in the accident before this one. But I'm not sure if Ray Richer and them can move on. But these cautions are definitely helping Judd Danielson as he's back into the top 10.
Yeah, just a few laps ago, Becky, we were writing off Judd Danielson. We were thinking, well, he pitted early. He went a lap down. And now look what he's doing. He's made some smart strategy play with his crew chief. He's back up. Looks like, what'd you say, in the 6th position, 9th position. Once we get through the start flag here, it might recycle.
Yeah, right now he's being shown in the 10th position. I still think that the winner's going to come from the guys in 1st or 2nd. I really think that right now, and it's still too early to tell, we still have some laps left, but I just got a feeling with what we've seen from the both of them here in the late stages on restarts that it's going to be between the 2 of them, not unless somebody can surprise us. Heck, they can even take each other out for the win. And then the win can go to a guy like Jack Watts, Craig Lerman, or Russ Coe even. Wouldn't that be something? Russ Coe getting the win here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Russ Coe is one of our very veteran drivers. He's been with us from the beginning of the Domino's TYJ Racing family over 18 months ago. He's one of those loyal drivers. He sticks around. He races hard. And he always seems to find a way, Becky, to find his way in the top 10, 15 finishing positions. He made the chase in our first season, and I'd love to see him get a top 5 or a win.
That's right. So many talented drivers here in Domino's TYJ. And just to brag a little bit on Russ Coe, not only can he wheel a race car on iRacing, he could play a mean guitar and sing. He's a part of a band, and very good at that. So a lot of drivers in here with many, many talents in Domino's TYJ.
That is true, and it looks like here at the restart, we're going to get here in a couple of laps. We got a couple of other drivers up here in the top 10. We got Craig Learman in the 77. Looks like he's going to restart 4th. He started all the way back in 31st, Bucky. This is incredible. We've also got James Somke in the number 1. He's restarting 7th. He started 19th. Yes, sir. We got Nick Reynolds started 22nd. He's up to 9th. We got all kind of names that have been in the top 10 for most of the race.
That's right, and some of these guys are still, struggling from when the caution fell after green flag pit stops. They're not able to move up through the field. I think out of those drivers, the one that is in the highest running order is Judd Danielson in 10th place, and the leaders are not going to come down pit road. They kind of looked like they were, but they decided to stay on the racetrack. I don't blame them. If you pit, there's guys that are behind you that will stay out.
And in the booth right now, we have Jeremy Crandall in the 73. Real quick, Jeremy, congratulations for your run tonight. You think you got something for Curtis Young?
I don't know. We're fixing to find out. He's got himself a pretty stout Chevrolet down there, so it's going to be a battle to watch, I'm sure.
Hey, Jeremy, this is Bucky. I just want to ask you a real quick question. What is your strategy for that? Do you need to get down to the bottom and try and make a move on him, or do you think you can do it on the outside?
Based on that last start there, I thought we'd get a little better start here on the outside, and evidently not. So it's going to be a fight to get to the bottom there and see what we can do.
All right, Jeremy, appreciate your time. We'll let you concentrate. Good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you in Victory Lane, at least in the top 3.
Sure, thank you, guys.
Well, there you hear it. Looks like the outside lane, Robert, is not the place you want to be. He's going to have to hope that Craig Lerman and Jack Watts in the 66 is not. He's going to hope that he does not get a good restart. So Jeremy can, once he crosses that start-finish line, he can jump down to the inside. As we're getting ready to go green here, the pace car is going to duck down pit road right about now. Curtis Young, Jeremy Crandall, Craig Lerman, Jack Watts, your top 4. Green flag is back out. Jeremy Crandall is going to get a good start. Russ Coe does not, checks up people behind him. The 66 of Jack Watts does get a good read, and we got caution back out on the speedway. That's going to do it, Ray. I mean, Robert, I think that's going to do it tonight. I don't know who was in the lead. I think Jeremy Crandall had the nose on Curtis Young. What a finish. I think this is going to do it, and Jeremy Crandall's probably going to be your winner, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm pulling out the replay right now. This is definitely a controversial end of the race. We are going to have NASCAR officials watching this restart and the caution to determine what happened there.
Yeah, from the looks of it on my screen, Russ Coe did not get a good restart. Checked up the field behind him, and that's when the caution came out. At the start-finish line, Jeremy Crandall, Curtis Young, 1 and 2, were side by side. It was a clean restart from the way I looked at it, but going into turn 1, Jeremy Crandall had an edge over Curtis Young when the caution came out, and iRacing scored him as the winner. But I think what you're talking about is possibly the review of the incident being under review. But according to iRacing, Jeremy Crandall was out front when the caution flag waved. To me, it looked like a pretty clean restart.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of things happened there on the replay. The 1 of James Sankey got turned by the 10 of Nick Reynolds. All these guys here at the end of the race, Bucky, are fighting for every position they can get. As you can imagine, the fans can imagine, and a lot of drivers can imagine, getting a good finish in one of our races is very important. These guys are pulling out all the stops here at the end of the race, and it's unfortunate for this to happen.
Very unfortunate. And a guy that I know is going to be disappointed with his finish but has to be happy with a comeback is Judd Danielson. He's going to pick up 8 spots to finish 8th. He was scored 16th under when everything cycled back through. But what a turn of events here. We ended up, it's going to come down to probably the closest finish in Domino's TYJ history, with literally a nose is the difference of the outcome of tonight's win for Jeremy Crandall. He wasn't too sure if the outside was going to do it, but he stuck with having a good restart and was able to get ahead of Curtis Young there going into turn 1. You have to wonder, if the caution had come out just a second later, what would have happened? Would Curtis Young reclaim that lead? We don't know. It ended under caution, and Jeremy Crandall is going to go to victory lane. I don't expect them to get a lap back. I could be wrong, but if they do, that'd be one heck of a finish. But if not, it looks like Jeremy Crandall is going to be the winner. Yeah, because this is, what, a 134 lap race, Robert. We still haven't even gotten the guys to line up 2x2 in a pack yet. They'll probably do that next time, so it may be a green checker.
I tell you what, this has been incredible. And we'll definitely have to look at the replay, like you said.
What are you hearing under race chatter, Robert? I don't have that playing for me. What are you hearing the drivers say?
Yeah, I was definitely just looking at the replay there. Bucky, thanks for asking. On the caution that came out between the 10 of Nick Reynolds and the 1 of James Somke, these guys are going to get together. They're going to get with the admins and determine the responsibility on that. What's important to know, Bucky, these drivers claim a caution at the end of a race, their penalty is lessened than if they do not claim the caution with no restart at the end of the race. So it's going to be interesting to see, and there will be penalties coming either way.
Well, let me ask you this. Since they did not claim it, and it goes to admin review with the drivers, clearly if no one claimed it, they're about as confused as everyone else to what happened. Will they still face a harsher penalty because they didn't claim it and it was had to go to official review? Or could it be a wash and they just get tail into the start line at the next week's race?
Yeah, basically, Bucky, in our league, if you cause a caution and there is no restart at the end of the race, automatic penalty, you start from pit road the next race you're in.
Oh, wow.
If you claim it, you still start from pit road the very next race you're in. That was a close call, so we'll see. Looks like we're going to a restart.
Yeah, how many laps are in this race, Robert?
134.
All right, well, we're going to take the green flag at lap 134, so we will get to compete one lap. So if the caution comes out, they're going to continue to race. Is that correct, how iRacing works?
Yes.
So here we go. We're going to get one lap shootout. I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Crandall, your leader, and he is not going to be the first car to the start-finish line. Curtis Young is going to have a half of a car length lead, and Curtis Young is going to take the lead commandingly. Jeremy Crandall lost it on the restart. He didn't even get to the start-finish line. I don't know what the rule is on that, but Curtis Young is walking away with this one. Jeremy Crandall's having to fight to keep second as Jack Watts is all over him for second. He's going to fight back to the outside, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to lose second. He's going to get turned by the 77 of Craig Lemmer. Big wreck. Big wreck. Curtis Young's going to go to victory lane. But I don't know if Judd Danielson's involved. I don't know if that... And then Curtis Young's going to slide going into one. I don't know. I hate to be the bad guy, Robert, but it looks to me like the restart... I don't know what the rules are, but it looks to me like the restart needs to be under review because Curtis Young was a half of a car length ahead of Jeremy as the green flag waved, and Curtis Young just kept going and was almost a whole car length ahead when he crossed the start-finish line. I don't know what the rule is, but looks like he is the winner. But then again, like I said, I don't know what the restart rules are. And then had a big wreck for third place on back. And Judd Danielson, 6th place. After all that, you know he's got to be happy. Ray Richard going to come home 10th. Some of these guys didn't have a good race, but they're going to get a good finish. And like I said, I don't know what the rules are, Robert. Right now, Curtis Young is out there celebrating. He won the race. Jack Watts looks to be finishing second. Then Russ Coe with a third place finish. This is, I'm going to leave it up to you, Robert, to explain what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the replay right now. Curtis did have a good jump there. Looks like the 73 might have spun his tires a little bit. We will definitely review this, and penalties will be handed down later in the weekend. We've got quite a few penalties we're going to be handed down. But at this time, we're going to take our non-green flag commercial break. You are watching the USPS 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting from Las Vegas. We'll be back in just a minute.
What's that?
Welcome back, race fans, for a very, very interesting finish to the Domino's TYJ Premier Xfinity race here at Las Vegas. Bucky, that was something else to behold. As I get these other drivers here, what are your final thoughts real quick?
Yeah, great race. A lot of things happened, a lot of gambles made. A lot of drivers finishing in the top 10 that you didn't expect because they ran the top 20 or even outside the top 20. But they were able to steal away a top 10. I wouldn't say steal away, but they were able to get in the top 10. Another thing that surprised me is Judd Danielson battling back for a 6th place finish after getting caught under green flag pit stops a lap down when that caution came out. But not surprised that Curtis Young picks up the win tonight as he was the dominant car. So can't wait to talk to him here shortly. But in a fun, interesting race, this had everything that you come to iRacing for. And being a race fan and a sim racing fan, it had everything that you could ask for. It had wrecks. It had side-by-side battles for the lead. Literally all race long, we had a battle for the lead. You can't ask for anything better than that. Robert?
Yeah, I tell you what, that was exciting. And right now, joining us in the booth is our 3rd place finisher, Rusco in the 420. Rusco, this is Robert in the broadcast booth. I want to wish you a great congratulations for a well-earned 3rd place finish, Russ. A couple quick questions. Tell us what your strategy was tonight, how you got up to 3rd place finish, and what else you want to say, Russ? Congratulations.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank the Domino's and Domino's TYJ and Robert for putting this on. Appreciate that. And when I started the race, I just wanted to survive until like the last 40 laps, and then I don't know, pit strategy kind of just worked for me out of just dumb luck, you know. So hey, top 3, woohoo! Yeah, baby.
Very good, Russ. I know you're affiliated, like Bucky said earlier. You do play in a live band. Give us just real quick, 30 seconds history on your band. What instrument you play, how people can find you.
Well, it's Trailer Trash Lot 420 is the name of the band, and you can find us. All you gotta do is Google us, man. We're on iHeartRadio, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Spotify, and you can buy us at Walmart.com. And my lovely wife is the bass player, and a guy named Chris Pedrick plays the drums. We're a 3-piece now. It's a little different than the picture you see online there. And if you want to call your local radio station and request us, 420 Reasons is probably the song to request. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Russ. You've been with us for a long time. You're a veteran driver. You drive that 420 car. Tell us what this win, or this top 3 finish, means to you and your race team with all the guys that helped you put this on, Russ. And who else you want to thank?
I want to thank my wife for putting up with me, for real. And what do I got to say about top 3 is woohoo! Yeah, baby!
Yeah, I can hear in the background, Russ. I tell you what, I hope you two go find a private place and do some serious celebrating. Congratulations, Russ. I tell you what, this really makes me happy. This has been a great race, a great week. We've had some downturns in our league, and this is definitely a high point, Russ. Congratulations. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, now we're going to bring in the booth for Bucky to interview our 2nd place finisher, Jack Watts.
Jack Watts, Bucky up here. You qualified 4th, was able to get a 2nd place finish. With that final restart, did you think you had anything for Curtis and Jeremy to go out there and battle for that win?
Honestly, I thought I had something for Curtis. For Jeremy, I wasn't sure about Curtis.
Yeah, you stayed pretty much inside the top 5, top 10 all race. What was the car like? What was the track like? And how did you survive over those bumps?
The car was great. The track, it was fun. It just started to you had to save your tires in order to keep up there. If you didn't save them, even though, you didn't fall back a lot, if you didn't save them a ton, that's what actually helped in the long run.
Most definitely. I did notice. I took a couple of laps myself out there before the race started and realized that the bumps and the tire wear and everything, all that had a recipe for some side-by-side racing. What was the biggest thing that really surprised you as this race went on? I know you ran up front most of the race, but we had some comers and goers, a lot of guys that weren't up front all race long. Did that face a challenge for you to have to race some new guys that you weren't familiar with?
Yeah, there was a couple guys I got nervous around. There was a lot of comers and goers, like you guys said. I think everybody got surprised by that one caution where we started having green flag pit stops, getting trapped a lap down. My biggest surprise, I don't know how I held it on that turn 3 coming to the checkered. That was just, I hit the apron, went completely sideways, and seeing guys wrecking behind me. That was, for me, that was intense.
Most definitely. Well, congratulations on a second place finish. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank, first and foremost, my team, Southeast Motorsports. Man, this is the best team I've ever been with. Domino's, TJY. Man, I can't say nothing more about this league than the best I've ever ran. And these guys, everybody they have in here tries to be as clean as possible. And All Pro Broadcasting for the great job that they do, over the top paints for paint schemes that we get from them, and just everybody involved in this. This is just so much fun. Thank you guys. You guys don't even know. It's just a great time.
Well, congratulations. A great points night for you. And we'll see you at the next race.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Robert, I think you're down there in victory lane with the winner.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Bucky, for that awesome interview. You do a great job, Bucky, if I don't tell you enough and often enough. And we do have in the broadcast booth with me now the winner of the race, Curtis Young. And before I ask Curtis any questions, I do want to let all the fans know the admins have reviewed the last 2 restarts, and we have concluded both of them are too close to call, whether it's the leader spinning his tires or not spinning his tires. We have concluded both of those restarts are official. They are good to go. And Curtis Young, you are the winner of the Domino's TYJ Racing Premier Xfinity Series USPS 200 race at Las Vegas. How you doing, Curtis?
I'm doing pretty good. Just happy to be back in victory lane finally. Last year was a pretty good year, and just a little bit of bad luck to start off the year. So yeah, those final 2 restarts, I don't know, I thought Jeremy jumped the second to last one a little bit, so I just did exactly what he did on the last one since it wasn't getting called. So I mean, I led a lot of laps tonight, and I really felt like I deserved the win, so just did what I had to do to get it.
Well, yeah, like I said, fans, it's hard to realize when you're in these cars pushing 650, 700 horsepower, the green flag comes out, you hit the gas, you got some worn tires on this old track, the tires spin a little bit, you get out of the gas. I don't even speak from experience that much because I'm a commentator more than a racer, but I know Curtis, Jeremy, they all can explain this. It's hard to get the perfect restart, and you're going to get a half a fender, you're going to get a couple of fenders on the guy beside you a lot of the times on the restarts, and some of these are just too close to call, and that's what happened tonight. And exactly, that's what happened, Curtis, and congratulations on your win. I know you've had a lot of struggles in this new season, 2017. Frankly, because we have a lot of new talent that's really, really good at what they're doing, as well as you are. Who else would you like to thank for this win, Curtis?
Definitely Eric Hawk. He helps me while he paints mine and his cars, and helps me out a lot with just other life-related things. My dad watches all the broadcasts here. I got a couple buddies that watch. Everybody that makes Domino's TYJ run smoothly, pretty much. It was an awesome race tonight. A little more cautions than we would have liked, but good finish.
Thank you very much, Curtis. Yeah, it was an awesome race. Obviously, these kind of tracks where you got mile and a half, so you got drivers from a little bit different skill levels. You're going to have some cautions. We had a lot of green flag racing. We had, I think, at least one green flag pit stop here tonight. And just so everybody knows, we do have a winner of the large 3-topping pizza. We have got a very, very special guest. I wish I knew how to get in touch with her right here, live on the air. I might try that in the next minute, but we do have Michelle McMaster Eisenhower, who's been a huge fan of Domino's TYJ Racing. She's been a huge fan of All Pro Broadcasting. She is Mike D'Amico, who runs all the cameras and gives us the incredible camera angles each and every week here on Thursday nights for our broadcast. She actually picked Curtis Young early in the race tonight. about 5 minutes earlier than another one of our famous previous drivers who picked Curtis Young to win. So Michelle gets to win the free pizza. I do not have a way to contact her, but we will definitely let her know in the next day or two. And I can almost promise you, she will definitely send me a picture when she picks up her pizza.
That's awesome. Michelle's a wonderful lady, and she does a lot for iRacing sim fans out there. So it's good to see her pick up a pizza.
Yeah, I tell you what, Becky, I appreciate you being here tonight. On your behalf, Becky Burt, live famous radio talk show host, Michael D'Amico, running all the cameras with All Pro Broadcasting. This is Robert McFarland. Appreciate all you fans being here tonight for watching the USPS 200 live at All Pro Broadcasting. We will definitely see you in 1 week, next Thursday night, for the Top Shelf Cup Series here at the same track, Las Vegas. You folks have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, Becky.
Running faster than the breakaways that never been. It's hard to describe just what I'm leaving